Every time there's a metal event, we always end up getting two troops. Now usually one of them is trash and the other one is really good, but not only is it really good, it also just targets wizard towers and it has some of the coolest animations that we've seen in a long time. So we should just play with the Broom Witch and completely ignore the MECHA Pekka, right? Nope. In fact, the MECHA Pekka is disgustingly good and even beats the Broom Witch out in a bunch of categories. So today I'm gonna explain why the MECHA Pekka is better in terms of stats, how it's so easy to use that even a baby could 3-star with it, and then give you an absolutely broken attack strategy that you can use for the next 2 weeks. To start things off, let's take a look at some of the key defining features of both of these troops. The Broom Witch always prioritizes wizard towers first, but the MECHA Pekka just goes after defenses. Right away you can see one huge advantage to the MECHA Pekka. It does not require you to take out all the wizard towers and can just go straight in. Stats wise, the MECHA Pekka has half the housing space as the Broom Witch, but for most town hall levels it will always have more hit points by quite a bit. That means for the same housing space, the MECHA Pekka has almost double the hit points of the Broom Witch. Now on the other hand, the Broom Witch has a disgusting DPS that cannot be ignored. But other than level 1, there's no level where the mecha has less than half the DPS of the Broom Witch. That means if you account for the housing space, the MECHA Pekka gives you more DPS for the same amount of housing space, but it gives you more than double the hit points that you would get for that housing space. Now there's definitely an argument to be made for the amount of witch spirits that are spawned and the fact that they do 4 times damage versus defenses. However, it's just simply impossible to count how many of these things actually land and how many times the witch can actually spawn all 24 of them separately. But even if the DPS was to equal out, then that still leaves the hit points, so the mecha still has an edge there. But here's the thing, it gets even better. Because the Broom Witch takes 1 minute and 15 seconds to train each time, resulting in a training time of 3.75 seconds per housing space. The mecha takes 30 seconds to train, so it ends up training at a speed of 3 seconds per housing space. Alright, now you guys might be like, alright BD, now you're just grasping at straws, but here's the thing, a full MECHA Pekka army at 320 army space will actually train 4 minutes faster than a full Broom Witch army. So comparable DPS, more than double the hit points, and of course the training speed as well. So now that just leaves movement speed to be analyzed. Now the movement speed is faster for the Broom Witch by 4, but with a movement speed of 28, the mecha is not slow at all by any means. So stats wise, the mecha already looks like it's a leg ahead, but stats doesn't always translate to practicality. So in practice, what's easier to use? Well, realistically, they're both really good troops, but the Broom Witch has a glaring weakness, and it's the fact that she has to have all the wizard towers taken out before targeting defenses. This requires 2 things for you to take out all the wizard towers and get pathing for you to have success in your attack. Now here's where things get a little tricky. You either have to use siege machines and heroes to take out the wizard towers or sacrifice some Broom Witches, and there isn't that many to start with in the first place. Thus the attack is a little bit more fragile in my opinion. The mecha on the other hand only needs one thing to succeed: pathing. If you can generate good pathing for your mechas, you can easily have them sweep through the base and take out all the defenses that they need to. Furthermore, there are only 10 housing space, so each time you can afford to take a few less and gather some troops to help form your funnel. Practically, it's a lot easier to just form a wedge and cut out part of the base and then drop your mechas around the base than it is to worry about both wizard towers as well as funneling. So this makes the mecha a lot more versatile. Not to mention that the walls are not a problem with this troop due to its increased damage to walls. In addition to this, the rage actually complements the mecha really well because you don't have a ton of DPS already, so there's very little chance for you to have some overkill. So mecha not only wins the competition in terms of stats, but also wins the competition in terms of ease of use as well as practicality. But for me to just say some bad things about the Broom Witch would be really unfair because it does have some amazing things that are going for it. To start off, it makes completing the event that we have right now a complete breeze, especially if you're willing to drop some trophies. But beside that, the Broom Witch probably wins the category that the majority of players care the most about. It just looks absolutely amazing. I mean, the artwork on this thing, from its attack animation to its flying around to all the little witch wisps that leave little skeletons around, is just absolutely beautiful in my opinion. Now don't get me wrong, the mecha looks pretty amazing too, and I really like the movement blur that you get when it's moving through the base. But the Broom Witch easily wins this category, it's not even a competition. And look, beside that, with all of the things that we already spoke about, the point I'm trying to make is that don't let your love for the Broom Witch, which literally nobody can blame you for, blind you to the fact that not only is the mecha a viable troop, it is insanely good, especially in the hands of most players. So life lesson for today, just because she's pretty doesn't mean she's better. Okay, now with all of the analysis and stuff out of the way, what is the best strategy with the mecha? This is the strategy that I've used to smack some really high level Town Hall 16s. First, you start with the Flame Flinger on one side to start building the funnel, then you can use some heroes on the other side to complete the funnel. Fun fact, right now my magic mirror is level 15 and I am experimenting with it with a little bit of hero dives, but we'll see how it does when it eventually does get to level 18. After setting the funnel, you just want to push the mechas right down the middle to push through the base. You can overgrowth the center or the back end, it depends on what you're comfortable with. I like using it in the middle so I can get the troops to go all the way around and then have them come back and really just converge on the middle, but it really is just base dependent. As the troops start to go around, try to sprinkle in some more mechas around the sides and then just have them end in the middle. Also, it's pretty important to make sure that you save your Eternal Tome so that you can use it towards the end. And if you're having some trouble pulling that off, just go ahead and overgrowth the back end instead, and then you can use your Eternal Tome when you get to the core of the base. Now, if you're a really low Town Hall level, maybe you don't have the overgrowth, the same concepts are going to apply, except that you're going to use freezes and rages instead. The key thing is to always set a good funnel. You can also take some wizards and some sneaky goblins to help you with that. As long as you can wedge out a base, you should easily be able to triple anyone that's at your Town Hall level. Just make sure that you take some archers or wizards for cleanup, since time can be a little bit of an issue. Okay, just for the sake of it, and because I probably won't be covering these troops anymore until the event is over, let's go ahead and show you guys my favorite Broom Witch strategy as well. First, you use the Flame Flinger to hopefully get the wizard towers, and then use the heroes to get some pathing and the remaining wizard towers. If you have to use another Broom Witch or two to clear up the remaining wizard towers, that's okay, but we really want to prioritize using the Broom Witch on the defenses. Now, once the wizard towers are done, use 7 bat spells on the opposite side of the Broom Witches so they don't trigger traps. And when this is done correctly, this is literally, in my opinion, one of the most satisfying things to watch in Clash of Clans. Bats just completely wreck the base. However, with the scatters and multi-infernos and everything that we have in the game nowadays, these types of attacks aren't as viable in my opinion. Now, with all of the tips in this video, you should be able to have a lot of success during this event, considering you don't make the worst mistake you humanly can. And that mistake is not picking up the magic mirror from the event shop. Now, if you don't know why that's such a big mistake, that is a problem. You need to watch this video right here, because if you don't, you could risk falling behind on your account.